computer. Okay, recording. Great. Hi, I'm Dawn Loding with eXp Realty, and I am a real estate agent here in New Braunfels, Texas, servicing all the surrounding areas as well. And welcome to Down Home with Dawn, where every week I try to bring some value to my buyers and sellers. And this week I have a special guest, Jeff Masters. He is an inspector. So when you get a home under contract, first thing we're going to do is call an inspector. So this is one of my favorite inspectors that we use around here, Jeff Masters, and he is with Right Angle Inspections. Say hi, Jeff.
Hello.
Thank you so much for joining me today. And like I said, my goal is to bring some value to buyers and sellers and have this video out there so that I can refer them to it when they have questions about the inspection. So what I like to do is really come up with 3 different questions that I'm going to ask you. And if you could just answer these questions, and then we'll just have a conversation about it, and we'll just have fun with it. Sound good?
All right. Sounds good.
Awesome. Okay, so my first question is, well, I'm a real estate agent. So we get a buyer and we get the property under contract, and then we refer them a few different inspectors for them to choose from. And,
right.
A lot of times they choose you and they give you a call, make that appointment, and then you go out to the house and do your inspection. They come out. Do you like them to come toward the end of the inspection so that you have time, or do you like them to be there for the whole inspection?
We all prefer that they show up towards the end of the inspection.
Yeah.
Because if not, they're just going to be chasing us around the house, and it's kind of crazy.
Yeah, and we don't want them to miss anything. We don't want you to miss anything. So That's what I always tell them. I'm like, he's probably going to ask you to come for the last 20, 30 minutes or so, but he'll go over everything that's important with you. So I just wanted to get some clarity on that. So then you have that appointment, and then you're going to do the inspection, go over that verbally with them. Then you do a report. You go home and you sit down and you get all of this on the computer and send them a report, correct?
That's correct. They get it, and the realtor usually gets it.
Yeah. And about how long does that take?
It's a couple hours.
Oh, really? You get it out? Yeah, you do get them out pretty quick,
Well, I get it to them. I try to get it to them by the next morning. I'm sorry. It takes about a total of 4 hours for the whole inspection on site and at home doing the report.
Okay, great. Okay, so now we have this report, right? Or let's just say the client is there with you at the house. So what are some of their questions? Like, what are the major concerns of the property, or what are some of their main questions that they ask you at that visit?
Well, they usually ask about the foundation. That's usually a leading question. Does it have any foundation issues? Because everybody knows what kind of trouble you can get into with foundation issues. And most of the houses don't have foundation issues, but I always tell them it's real important to keep your soil around the foundation moist. And a lot of people are like, what do you mean by water your foundation? And it's like, you keep the soil around it moist but not soggy. That way the slab, the ground doesn't dry up around the foundation and crack and cause issues with the foundation.
So like in the drought seasons or the drought months, which we have sometimes over the summer, but like not when it's raining like it has been here lately, but so that's kind of a maintenance tip for moving forward. But foundation, let's talk about that a little bit more. So what is it that you're looking for at the property to see if there are any foundation issues?
We look for different size cracks in the foundation, of course, and then whether there's stress cracks in the sheetrock or there's separation at the boards along the eaves and the doors that don't close properly. It's a bunch of different items together at one time, not just one small little door jamb that's out of whack or something like that.
Okay. And do you advise them to get like a foundation repair company out there or an engineer out there?
Sometimes we do. We refer them to get an engineer out there to look at it. They don't want to get a foundation company because they're going to do the labor, but they want an engineer report.
Yeah, that's what I always tell them. I'm like, you don't want to get the estimate from the people that are going to be doing the work. The engineer is really a third party who in my opinion, who has no vested interest in that property having problems or not. So I always say pay that money, which I think is anywhere from $300 to $500, totally depending on the property and location as well, but well worth it if you're concerned about the foundation issues. So
yes, any concern on your part whatsoever, I would recommend calling a foundation engineer.
okay, and then what about, so what's another really good question, common question that they ask about?
They ask about the roof, if the roof's in good shape.
Yeah.
You know, I try to get up on every roof that I can, you know, and give them a fair report, make sure the flashing's good and all that. But that's a major concern, the roof, the foundation, the HVAC.
Okay.
Those are all your big ticket items.
Okay. And then the AC. So the AC and the heat, that's another one, right? Like they
Yes.
always want to know, like, I always suggest that they ask for the AC and the heat to be serviced. So that kind of leads into, you know, at the end, we were going to talk about maintenance, but while we're here, let's talk about that now. So the AC, the roof, the foundation, all of this stuff has ongoing maintenance that's needed in order for it to take care of your home, correct?
Correct. Yeah, go back to the roof right now. We've got, you know, you've got nails sticking up through the ridge cap and stuff like that. I tell everybody, get up on the roof once or twice a year, make sure the nails are sealed properly, stuff like that. And
Awesome.
the HVAC, once you sign a contract on a house, like you were saying, go ahead and get it serviced, but then keep that service agreement, you know, get a company and have them come out a couple times a year and service it. And it'll save you money in the long run. And then you can, as a buyer or the owner at that point, you can dump Clorox or vinegar down the condensate drain line and keep all the bacteria and mold and algae from building up in there, which is going to clog your line. And then, you know, if it's in the attic, overflow into your house.
Okay, good to know. I think I'm going to tell my husband that. I don't know that he does that.
I don't think I've done mine yet either.
And I do need to have it serviced because now we're going from turning on the AC to turning on the heater. And I don't want that going out because I hate to be cold. Like that is my worst. So I like to crank up the heat. So, okay. So that really kind of goes over all that. Appliances, you know, what do you go in and run like all of the appliances and the water, plumbing? What's that look like?
We start with the kitchen. We usually start the dishwasher. That's kind of a joke with right angle inspection now because Danny and I were doing an inspection and he's like, what are you looking for? I said, the soap pod. He's like, why? I said, there's dirty dishes in the dishwasher. We're going to run it. I might as well put soap in it for the people. And so he introduces us at all these events now that I wash your dishes too, as well as a home inspection.
That's funny. You really do go that extra mile, don't you?
Well, yeah. I mean, they have all their dirty dishes in there. I might as well wash them if I'm running it.
You know, that is really sweet. Your wife must be really grateful because, like, do you do the dishes at home too?
Oh, yes.
That's awesome because my husband would have never thought of, I should probably not say that on my video.
Yeah, he
my
might pull it up
husband,
later.
He doesn't do the dishes, so he would probably never think to throw a pot in there like that. But yeah, I'm going to leave that in there. But, you know, you never know. So you're a keeper. Tell her I said that.
All right.
Okay.
No, we check the disposals too, make sure they're hooked up properly and, you know, don't make a bunch of weird noises when you turn them on. And then the stove, we'll turn the burners on. We try to enclose a bunch of photos in our reports. So you'll see that the burners are on and then check the temperature of the stove and move on from there.
What about the plumbing? What do you do to check the plumbing and like I guess the toilets to make sure they're all flushing okay? You just go check them out. Do you listen for funny sounds or?
We do that. We flush the toilets, turn on the faucets, the sink faucets and the tub at the same time, make sure there's good water pressure. And then we check behind the toilets, make sure there's no leaks from the supply because usually there's a small leak behind the toilet that people don't catch.
Yeah.
But yeah, we try to put a little bit of water in the sinks and the tub too, and then see how they drain. You know, if they drain real slow, then we might have some kind of issue going on with the drain plumbing under the slab or under the house.
Awesome. And then one thing we didn't talk about at all was electrical either. What all do you do for electrical with the box, like the circuit breaker
With the
box? Is
box.
that what it's
With the
called?
box.
I just know it is that gray box, like has breakers in it.
Yeah, you turn them off and on a couple times. No.
If something goes out in the house, I just go and figure out which one's off and flip it back on.
No, we take the covers off and look at them, make sure they have the right size wire connected to the breaker. And a lot of times you'll have the neutral wire, the white wire, being used as a hot wire, like for water heaters, things like that. And it's not a big deal. It's fine, but we have to mark it up saying, hey, this needs to be labeled as hot. You know, some electricians will mark you the white wire with the Sharpie or wrap electrical tape around it, just, you know, to signify that's being used as a hot wire. But other than that, we check outlets and all the GFIs around the kitchen. And then, I don't know, just basically make sure there's no burnt wires or breakers or dead animals inside the breaker box. You'll find lots of those.
Dead animals?
Well, geckos, a couple rats.
Yeah.
More geckos than anything. I guess not really an animal, but.
Yeah, I bet. I'm sure I have a few like up in my attic and stuff. So we live on 2 acres. So I literally animals everywhere. Like we have chickens and dogs and deer. And the worst thing, so now I have to tell an animal story, and then I'm going to ask you an animal story. So the worst animal that I've ever had, or not even an animal, but critter, I should say, my husband got a picture of it, and I wasn't home. Thank God I was not home at the time. He got a picture of it, but he was laying on our bed, and he felt something crawling across him. And so he's like, well, that has some weight to it. Like, what is that? You know? And so he looked, and it's a tarantula. Like a tarantula, like that big. Like we have them out here. We live on, you know, in the country on a couple of acres. So we have like big old tarantulas. So he must have carried it. Like he said he had just come into the house. So the thing jumped on him from outside and then he walked in. Because, yeah, although I have found them crawling across my living room floor. So.
Really?
Yeah, I just go put them back outside because they eat lots of other little bugs. So. I just hope they remember me before they bite me the next time.
I'm your friend.
Remember me? Okay, so tell me have you come across any crazy situations with animals?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
I
dead
did
or alive?
What's that?
Dead or alive?
Oh, he was alive.
Oh, okay.
I was underneath the house. I crawled under there to do the inspection on a pier and beam house. And we know it's dark. There's spider webs everywhere. It's kind of damp from a pipe leaking. And something pulls on the cuff of your pants leg.
Oh.
Yeah, it's not good at all. You're like, do I sit up and knock myself out on the bottom of the house or what? You know, how do I take this? You know, so I look real quick and there's this goat underneath the house he came in the crawl space with me. They're real friendly. But in the dark, it's not fun at all. You know, it pulled on my pants leg and I'm just frozen there like, what is down here with me?
It's a goat. How funny.
And then
Thank God
like,
it was a goat.
I'm like, it's just a goat. And then he's like, you know, does that real loud underneath the house and it echoed. And then, you know, it's like, let's just get out of here, both of us. Come on. But yeah, that's not fun whenever you get tugged or touched by something underneath the house in the dark.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I was thinking you were going to say a raccoon or a skunk, but being under the house. But thank goodness it wasn't either of those. So
especially
awesome.
the skunk.
Yeah. Ooh, yeah. We've had those. They've had a few fights with our dogs, and that's not fun. Giving your dogs is it vinegar bath that we give them? It's been a while.
Vinegar,
So
tomato juice, something.
Knock on wood, I don't have that for a while. All right. So really one more thing. So I always try to prepare my buyers for the inspection a little bit. I let them know that you have to do the inspection to today's codes. That if you're doing an inspection on an older house, 1970 something, like you still have to write it up with today's codes. Is that true?
That's true. I have to write it up. I have to say what is wrong. Just because I put it as what we call deficient on the report doesn't mean that it's bad. I mean, there was a house I did this morning the electrical wires were the way they used to do it. I had to mark it deficient, but the house has been there since 1984,
Yeah.
but I just have to mark that. I
Do
can't
you
think of
kind of
anything
go
else.
over that with them at the end when you
I
talk?
try to.
Yeah.
I like it whenever the buyers and the realtor show up, because then
Oh.
we can talk about everything. Because if you're a new home buyer and you see a piece of paper or however many pages a report is, and everything on there is marked deficient, you're like, why am I going to buy this place? So it's real good, especially new home buyers.
Yeah.
I love talking to them and showing them how the HVAC system works and all that stuff.
Yeah.
It's just,
Well, good.
it just makes sense, makes good,
Yeah,
sense.
I know you've really gone above and beyond for a couple of our clients on my team and went back out there even for different things, like, and helped them with stuff. So I really, really appreciate that. That just shows that you truly care about these clients as well. So yeah, I try to prepare them for that. And another thing I try to prepare them for is the cosmetics versus major repairs. Like that we're not doing this inspection to find out that the paint doesn't match, or that the hardware is the wrong color, or things like that, that we're really looking for things that are deficient with the bones of the property. And so, I just, try to prepare them for that. Because I've had people before that want like 20 things done on an inspection, and a lot of it is stuff that is just going to take a minute or two. It's like, I don't want to, can you just do that like later? Like part of owning a house is fixing it up. It's not, meant to have the sellers do that when you're buying an older house. So anyway,
I was talking to some people the other day that were buying a new house, and I told them I'm going to find the things that need to be fixed, and y'all write down everything, the little taping and floating issue, or the texture's not right in this place, all the things you're talking about, little cosmetic things, and they can turn that into the home buyer, because I don't want to mess with that so much, is really find the major problems.
Yeah. Well, good. So really, then I was going to just end this call with what are some of the maintenance items? We kind of touched on that with the watering, or did we? I don't remember if we did or not.
But a little bit, just keeping your soil moist.
Yeah. What are some home maintenance items that you would advise these buyers, once the house is theirs, to continue doing?
Okay, let's start at the top. Literally, we'll start on the roof.
Okay.
No, just look at your roof. Make sure your shingles haven't blown off, or your little wind turbines up top. Called the whirly birds. So the house right behind mine right now is it's leaning, about to fall off. It probably has in this wind. And then you've got an opening for rain and stuff like that. I see a lot of neglect on the exterior. The inside of the house looks really nice, but they don't caulk and paint the exterior.
Yeah.
And if you don't maintain around the windows and where your siding joins up, you're going to have major issues, because it's going to get into what we call the bones, the foundation, and then get in the insulation and interior and go from there.
Awesome. And then, of course, your AC and your heater, you think once a year is enough for each of those? Like, when do you do that? Or just
as far as a company coming into it?
Yeah, a company coming in and doing a full service. How often should that happen?
Probably 2 times a year. I would get with the company and see what they recommend. They're going to charge you a little bit to come in and take care of it. And like I said, you can Google a lot of this stuff on how to clean, your condensate line with vinegar or Clorox, and it'll tell you the proportions and where to put it and everything.
Okay.
Other than that, I can't think of too many more maintenance issues. In the wintertime, of course, insulate your faucets.
That's a big one. You don't want faucets bursting. We used to do maintenance on the foreclosures all over San Antonio, like all of the Fannie Mae foreclosures. We had a business that we did that. And one of the things would be to have to go out and winterize the properties. And then right before a freeze, boy, they would want us on all the vacant properties to go wrap all the hoses and hose bibs, the line outside. And I remember that. So anyway, well, that's really all that I have. Do you have anything else that you want to add to this for buyers?
I can't think of anything right now. I think we covered quite a bit.
Awesome. Well, one of the things I also have been advising lately to my sellers is to get a pre-inspection done so that they can kind of get a head start on those items. So have you done many of those?
I have. I've done several of those, and
Awesome.
that's a good thing. Sometimes the buyers won't take the old inspection report. They're going to want another inspection report, but it really gets you ahead of the game when you want to sell in a hurry.
Yeah, and I think it alleviates some of the missed sleep or the sleepless nights that the sellers have. Like, what are they going to ask for? Like, what's wrong with my house? I haven't serviced that AC in like who knows how long.
Yeah, 5 years.
Right. So maybe we should get a head start on that. That way the buyer doesn't come in and do their inspection and get completely freaked out about it. So I've really been pushing that a lot on my listings. So some of them don't want to deal with it, but what?
One thing I hear on new home buyers is they're going to wait. I'll wait till 10th month or 11th month to get my inspection done. You know, wait till that month to do all your little cosmetic repairs for the company. But have the inspection done the first couple months, simply because I've gone into these new homes and there's no insulation over certain parts of the house, over the whole master bedroom, bathroom, closet, because they just didn't know that hatch was back there in the master closet. And that's happened on several new houses. So you go 11 months with no insulation on the west side of the house, and yeah, you're going to be paying quite a bit for your electric bill. And
Good
then
to know.
I was up on a roof and they forgot siding. There was actually a water leak down and over the garage because they forgot to put siding and trim up there beside the brick. And
Definitely,
11 months.
Definitely important to have those new home inspections done. I advise that with all the new builds. So very important. Awesome.
Yes,
all right, Jeff. Well, thank you so much. This was a great call, super informative for my buyers and my sellers, and I just really appreciate it. So I'm gonna post this video up later on my business page and on my YouTube channel. Okay. So hopefully lots of people will be watching it in the future. So thank you very much, and you have a great evening.
All right, you as well. Thank you.
All right, bye-bye.